How's it going? My name is Ian Griffin, and today I'm going to explain to you some things about the Chesapeake Bay just for your general knowledge and just so you can get a feel for what the bay actually is. I have two main objectives I'm going to do today. The first objective being a 10 things you didn't know about the bay itself, and the second main objective is to show and explain how you can get involved or if you want to join the actual organization itself. So, in small detail, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is one of the largest conservative organizations dedicated to the preservation of the bay itself. As you can see, there's some beautiful pictures. As you can see, this stork over some water and some grass. Just some basic stuff about the actual bay. It's kind of funny. This says blueprint is paying off, highest ever, and it says 34 C minus. That's kind of ironic that that's the highest ever. So you can see that there's a lot of room for growing for the bay itself. And before I get into it too much, let me go down to the first objective, 10 things you didn't know about the bay. So, for some of these, it's pretty straightforward. Like this one, the bay holds about 18 trillion gallons of water. That amount of water would fill more than 50 billion bathtubs to the brim, which that is a lot of water. I can't even fathom that. But others, there may be, just a little bit more in detail I'll have to talk about. So when we go down the second one, only about half of the water in the bay comes from the ocean. The rest comes from 64,000 square mile watershed, which is all the way from Cooperstown, New York to Norfolk, Virginia, which, as you very well know, is pretty far. As you can see right here, roughly 51 billion gallons of water enter the bay each day, that's also a large number. This is actually a really cool thing. A person 6 feet tall could wade through more than 700,000 acres of the bay without becoming completely submerged. That's pretty cool, but that's a large amount of area that one can actually walk through. Now here's the first one. Every year, new parking lots, driveways, roofs, and other hardened surfaces from different convert land in the Chesapeake Bay region from great green filter to hard gray funnel, which it's pretty bad that a land size of Washington, D.C. is lost every year. And I mean, Robert Downey Jr. says it pretty well in this GIF. Got any other bad ideas? I mean, it's pretty sad that that's the amount of land that's being lost every single year. And furthermore, number 6, a lot of people actually don't know this. I'm from the Chesapeake Bay area. I'm from Hampton Roads. And most sewer drains go straight to the bay itself. It doesn't go to your local sewage plant like most people tell you. And as a result of that, a lot of the sewage waste that goes into the actual the drains, like the gutters, goes straight down into the bay, which leads to this next 7th one, which they relate together. About 500 million pounds of seafood per year is taken from the bay. Now, with all the sewage spill off, that amount correlates pretty high with the 500 million pounds of seafood per year that is obviously consumed. So it makes you wonder where all this food's going into your body. How does it affect it? And there's a lot of questions that are being left for just the individual that's consuming. A very popular fish that's consumed along the Chesapeake Bay is rockfish, also known as striped bass. And as you can see, it says, 70-90% of all rockfish and striped bass are spawned in the bay, which is a very large percentage, and a large percentage is consumed along the area. This one is a little bit more concerning, is that the bay's fishing industry used to harvest tens of millions of bushels of oysters. Today, harvests have fallen to less than 1% of historic levels. With a personal knowledge of the oysters, the reason why this is concerning is because oysters are natural filters, which have used to been able to filter out all the pollution that would drain off into the bay. But unfortunately, due to the overwhelming amount, oysters used to be able to filter pollution in about a week, completely clean the entire bay of all pollution from that week. Now it's about a year and a half, which is over 1,000% increase in amount of pollution that the Chesapeake, known as the eastern oyster, has to deal with. And then it's very difficult when right here, number 10, 17 million people live, work, and play in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. That is 17 million people that have to deal with the runoff, the sewage, just the spill off, and it's our homes. It's a lot of people's homes, and it's a lot of people's, what they consume. And it's very concerning that, the Chesapeake Bay has to deal with this, and it was here a lot longer before humans ever, left their footprint. And now it's slowly dying, and it's unfortunate. And that's why the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, has their motto, saving a national treasure. That's why they're dedicated to helping preserve all the organisms, the life, just all sorts of animals, and, mainly just the water and the ecosystem itself. Luckily, they have a pretty easy join us section that's pretty straightforward. You can either become a member, which is taking a few seconds to load up. Taking a lot longer than a few seconds. Finally, as it pops up. As you can see, you can either have a set amount of $25 a month, or you can set your own amount. There's 25, there's preset amounts like $25, $50, all the way up to $1,000, or you can put in your own one. And it can either be a one-time gift or automatically repeat this donation. Luckily, the member benefits, if you look over near my cursor, you can have a reduced rates for a Bay Discovery trip, which is an informational trip that you can go on. There's discounts at the online store. You get an exclusive magazine that details of what the foundation is doing, and it's a really good thing. It helps the individual know that they're helping to save the bay, and with this, you just get a small donation, and it really helps. It's a big impact. Now, if you don't just want to do a dollar amount, and you actually want to be able to get involved, you can go to participate in an education program, which there are educational programs you can go on, which are like field trips, and you can have professional learning, field programs, student leadership. There's a various amount, and basically you just go on trips with some of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation members, like the actual workers, the ones who are dedicated to preserving the ecosystem of the bay, and you get to go learn in a first-person, on-hands learning experience. Furthermore, if you go back to the Join Us section, you can go to the Action Center, where they have bills that have been lined up with the local state delegates and state senators through legislation in Maryland and Pennsylvania, and is also the other states that are involved with Chesapeake Bay. It's just these are the three that are taking precedence right now, where you can sign and also reach out to your local legislator for them to get involved at the state and federal level. Hopefully, this small video gives you a little bit of insight into the bay itself and why it's important, how widespread it affects people. And hopefully this video gives you a little bit of information also, just for you to get involved to help save other people's homes if it doesn't, affect you. Because at the end of the day, this ecosystem supports a mid-regional economy. It provides a lot of food for the coast and within the East Coast itself. And it's our home. Earth is our home, and we definitely need to take care of our home. Thank you.